Hello friends, this is Sherry from Turquoise Dreaming. How you doing today? Welcome to my channel. This video is going to be a continuation of the first video I did where I started this journal from the collab with Deb Hauk on Smash That Small Paper Pad collaboration. And so on that video was the first one in January. There's going to be one each month. And where we post, our project where we're trying to use up a whole paper pad. And I had said that I'm going to do a new one each month, but I would continue this project until the next month, until the next one, time for the new one. So, in between the 25th through the 25th of the next month, I'll finish the project that I started. And also I had taken a poll where people wanted to see, the comments were and the votes were for. First was the book journals, which I've already finished and posted those videos. Second was the traveler's notebook. So that's kind of why I picked that project to go ahead and start the traveler's notebook, and also at the same time smash one of my paper pads that are smaller than a 12 by 12, and this paper pad was 8.5 by 11. So what we did, we started this journal. We made the cover together, and after the video I sewed around. We had put cardstock in between two layers of scrapbook paper. So the first layer is our cover here, where I sewed around in a zigzag stitch and added a piece of lace here on the spine. And you can see it's coordinating lavender lace. And on the inside we just have another piece of scrapbook paper. And we folded it up, I think is how we did this one, and made some pockets here. And then we have, I believe it's 10 pages from the scrapbook paper pad. So on the ones that have pockets, I'll just show you 1, 2. This one has a pocket, and I sewed the pockets. I showed in the first video how to do this, and then after the video I sewed the pockets. So we have, let's start over again. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Thought I had 10, but it looks like I have 11 papers folded in half. That's 22 pages, or counting fronts and backs, 44. So that's a lot of pages already, right? 44 pages, and we have a bunch to add still. So you can see how it looks already. I like to put up, sometimes if I have a pocket, I like to have a pocket in the middle. I'm going to move one of those pockets to the middle here. This is a good thing about, you can move things around until you sew it in, right? So move that pocket to the middle. Let me see what the other pocket looks like. Maybe we want the other pocket in the middle. I think I want this one because it has a little bit more design here, and I like the middle page to be just like, kind of like almost a wow page, like, oh, isn't that pretty, with all this kind of paisley looking scrapbook paper here. And we'll put this other one kind of in the middle here of these pages, and then we have our other pocket at the beginning. So already we have 6 pockets to fill. So the next pages, these are all pages that can be written on. You can add writing spots, or like this one doesn't have much on it, you could write on there. Or you can use these for putting in your pictures. I mean, wouldn't it be great to put a picture on there? Or, some of your mementos and things that you keep from, trips and, activities, things that you want to keep, keepsakes. So that's what we have so far. So the next stage that I do is putting in my writing paper. So I've pulled out several sheets of paper here, and I'm going to have to cut some, but let's get started with just seeing how they fit. And I've pulled out at least 10 more papers here, maybe more, so we'll see. We'll see how they fit, and if we need to cut them, and if we have too many pages, maybe we have to take some out. So this is a little piece of stationery, and I try to pick out matching papers. There's a lot of colors in this scrapbook paper, but like one of them is orange. So that's why I pulled this out. And I thought it would be fun to have some, different size pages in here. So this one is going to fit perfectly. It's not too wide, folded in half, and it's perfect. So that's good to go. Now the next two pages I pulled out are these like buttery yellow. I just thought these would be really pretty in here. There is some yellow in here, but I didn't want to add too bright of a yellow. Like I had another yellow and it was kind of more like a sunshine yellow. So I thought that might be too bright. So let's just see for a second. Because I also like to do, when I figure out my pages, how I'm going to either cut them off and make them fit or whatever, I like to make as less scraps as possible. So on this one, I think it'll be perfect to have fold outs on the side. Or you can make those into little pockets. Or I could make them into little pockets, or leave it for whoever gets this journal to make them into pockets. So I'm just going to fold these pages in half, but I think they're still going to be too long, so we'll have to cut off the length. Let me put this to the side for a second so I can get this squarely folded evenly right here. I think I might have it. Okay. A little bit of allergy going on this morning. Okay, so I do need to cut off about 1 inch. Okay, I'm going to get let's see, I have a pencil right here. I'm going to kind of use the pages that I have in here as a measurement for my length. So let me get them even and kind of just make a little mark here. Because I've already measured these, I've already cut off the excess out here on these, so these I know are good so far anyway. As we get more pages in here, things may change. So I'm going to go ahead and make a little mark. This one's actually sticking up a little bit here. There's one that's sticking up, so I'm going to go with the lower measurement here, like right here. Okay. I've got 2 pieces of paper in there that I just folded in half, so I'm going to cut those off, cut that little bit off. It's actually only about 1/2 inch, because this is 8 1/4 inches long, the cover. So, and this paper is 8 inches wide, but it needs to be a little bit in from the top and bottom, not right up to the top and bottom. And because by the time you go to sew it in, you don't want that. You don't want take any chance of anything sticking out the top, so it's good to have a little bit of leeway there at the top and bottom. Just didn't cut all the way through. I should have pushed a little harder. Actually, and I want to make sure I have a nice even cut, so let me just take this piece out that's cut nicely, and we'll put just this one back in there. Finish cutting that. Actually, let me cut it a little bit off. It's just about cut through. Oh, okay. There we go. It did cut even. I just didn't want it to cut uneven. Okay. So now, this is just our cover here. I'm going to take this one sheet at a time. I guess I'll just do one at a time. You see how it fits. Just a little bit there at the bottom, a little bit at the top. So that's perfect. And I'm going to take it and fold it in, but leave plenty of room here. Now I can refold it, so I'm not going to I'm not going to measure anything. I'm just going to fold it, and it should be fine. I've got almost probably a 1/4 inch there in from the side, so it should be fine. We will see. And over here about the same. Maybe a good 1/4 inch, I would say. Not less than a 1/4 inch in. Okay, there's another one, another page. We'll put all the pages in a second in the journal. Right now we're just going to get the pages ready and then put them in the journal and see where we want them. So the same thing with this one. I may decide to take one of these out because I don't have duplicates on any of my other pages. This is the first one I pulled out, and I pulled out 2 of these because I just thought it would be cool to have a plain. It's colored, paper, but it's plain. You know, I just thought it'd be neat to have a nice, pretty colored, plain paper that's not white, but it's a pretty color. Okay, next I have a piece of handmade paper. And let me see how wide this is actually, because I might want to cut this one. Got a ruler here. Let me get my scraps out of the way. This is almost 9 inches wide, so yeah, I wanted to see how much I would need to cut off if I cut this off. So I think I am going to cut a little bit off of here, so I can go ahead and cut these holes off, and that would probably be just about right for the width that I need for this journal. So let's cut that off and see where we're at. Okay, let's cut a little bit more off of this side because I don't want it to, I mean, I'm probably going to have to anyway, so it doesn't stick out the sides of the cover. So let's just do it now, then we won't have to worry about it. Okay, so yeah, I did picture this when I pulled it out. I pictured it being folded in half with lines. It's plain on the back and then lines, and this is kind of like, it feels like handmade paper. I don't know if it really is, but it came out of a little, kind of like an album that was really pretty. So I'm going to go ahead and fold it in half. Oops. You can see how it fits in our cover. That'll be nice, right? Okay, that's another page. That's 3 pages we've prepared. This is a vintage ledger paper. It does have the holes in the middle, so before I bind it, I might reinforce. It's not coming apart though. It really doesn't have to be reinforced. And, you know, it's just that I'm going to be putting more holes in it with sewing in, so I don't know, I'm going to play that one by ear, but I don't want to cut this because it is vintage ledger. So I'm going to go ahead and just fold this in so I don't waste any of this precious paper. I have a hard time finding it, vintage ledgers. So I don't want to, I mean, I would use the scraps, but I'd rather not even cut it, you know what I mean? I'd rather just go ahead and leave it in here. So, and this is the, I would have to cut off the numbers too, and that's the cool, one of the coolest parts of a piece of ledger. The ledger papers with the, you know, the old ledger pages with the numbers on them. See the numbers right here. Those are cool. So that one I'm going to say is ready, unless I decide to come back and put some washi or something down the middle there. Okay, next piece is some music. This has, I'm going to fold it this way, so we have some variety in our just a second, let me get my tissue. In our pages, so I think I'm going to go ahead and fold it in half so I can fit it into my paper cutter here. This is vintage music, and there's a little piece of folded over here that I'm going to cut off because that was where it's just, it came out of the book like that, and that's where the staples were, and it kind of was held in where that little piece went under the fold of the music book, so it could stay in the book. Some of the pages didn't go all the way through, you know what I mean? They were just folded over a little bit so they would be bound into the book with that little tiny fold. So this is, yeah, this is choir music from my mom that she gave me. This one, we're going to have a lot of fold overs in here. I'll probably have to make some of these tuck spots. And I would probably, I don't know, I'll either glue down the sides or sew them down. I'll decide later. Right now we're just getting our pages in here. So this is a pretty easy, I would say, way to make a traveler's notebook. You know, we're just putting in pages, and we can decide how much we're going to decorate. This is some graph paper. Now this one I think I'm going to cut down to size because I've already got enough pockets and tuck spots. The more pockets and tuck spots you make, you're kind of doubling your paper at that point, and like on the edges and the bottoms, and it really does add to the bulkiness of the journal. So I'm just going to, in order to keep this simple, fold this in half and kind of measure where I want to cut it. Here's where it will be bound in. So let's see, I'm going to say from here, I'm going to make a little fold mark here so I can see where I want to cut. About right there would be good. Just inside of my stitches here, where I have my zigzag stitching, is a good measuring point for me on this journal. So we'll cut that off. Okay, that can go in my scrap box. And then we'll have to cut off the bottom too. I got about, graph paper is kind of neat to work with because it's got the little squares. And you can measure like, okay, I'm going to cut off 3 squares off the bottom here. 3 squares. And so that page is cut to size exactly. Sorry, I keep dropping my little thing from my paper cutter. I keep forgetting I'm on video and I need to control that. Maybe it's too loud, you know. Okay, so that's another page. Now, I have this ledger, and you know, it's regular ledger that I think about all my paper, my ledger paper, I've never bought it new. I can't say it's vintage, but it's all from thrift stores, if you know what I mean. None of it has been purchased new. So I see it quite a bit. I don't know if I've bought every ledger paper I've ever seen at thrift stores, but I probably have bought just about all of it. So this one, just right here by the numbers, I need to cut off so that it's not too long lengthwise. And then let's measure our width. And ledger paper is cool because it's like the lines, well, the lines are going, see the lines in here, they go both ways, so it's cool. I think it's cool that you know, you have lines going both ways for you, at least on the one side, right? Okay, so I'm going to cut right there, just about on that brown line right there. So let's see if I can leave the brown line on there and make that my top margin, or actually it will be the side margin if I can cut it right. think I might be able to get it. Yeah. Oh, I did it. See, I've got a brown line right there as my edge. So hopefully that'll work out and I won't have to cut any more off of that. Okay, I've got a piece of kids writing paper. Now this is pretty wide. Let's see if I can, I'm going to try to cut it, fold it like this and see if I cannot waste too much of this or have too big a, like I'll have a big cutoff, you know what I mean, and not a little tiny strip or two little tiny strips. Okay, so I'm going to cut this big piece off because that could almost be a little page in a scrappy notebook or something, or even in here if I wanted a little, you know, a smaller page. Oh, well, I'm getting carried away. Apparently this is a little bit more difficult, delicate than I thought. Huh, look at that. Just ripping to pieces. Okay, well, I'm going to have to do something different with that. So this is delicate, huh? I have used this before, and I never had to do that before, but maybe I used a different paper cutter too on this. So let's see. I think I can salvage part of that. And this, I think, let's see, how wide was it? I think I'm going to put this in my scraps and use another piece, but I don't have it out right now, so I'll have to get that out later. This I pulled out as a page. It's cardstocky, but it, you know, I thought it would be pretty in here, and it's a you know, variable size. So let's go ahead and cut this down to 2-page size. Be about right here. Let's see how we do with this. I think I need to cut I folded here, but I think was a little bit too far over, so I'm going to cut just inside that fold. Like about right there. I think that'll be good. There we go. Alright, so this is not straight here. I'm going to get me a straight line here. This was apparently used part of it before on something else. But this is some cardstock. This came in a package of cardstock and scrapbook paper that I got at a thrift store too. So if I find scrapbook paper or cardstock at a thrift store, I do get it if it's something I think that I will use. You know, if it's not, it doesn't look like my style, you know, then I don't get it, then I pass. Okay, so that will fit. Okay, let's see how many papers we cut, because I might or might not go back and cut that kids' writing paper. We'll see if we look like we think we have too much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I thought I pulled out 10 papers, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think well, let's go ahead and put it in here. I can always pull out some more. I do have some more right here, some coffee dye paper and things like that I might just pull in. So I want the first page, let's see. Right now we've got this as a first page, and this is our cover. So if this is going to be our first page, and then this is actually stationery, so this is, I'm going to say this is writing paper. Oh, that's another one of our pages. So that's 8, as we were counting our pages. This is one of them. So writing paper there. I like to put a piece of writing paper in between each, you know, scrapbook paper or decorated paper, pattern paper, whatever you want to call it. Okay, now I don't want another yellow piece here. I want something different, and maybe our ledger paper can go here, our vintage ledger, and then this piece, and then the pretty handmade paper looking one, the piece with our pocket. Let's do this one next, this solid cardstock. And then let's do that scrapbook paper. Actually, let's see what's next. Let's do this one because we have a green one there. Let's do this one next. It's like too much. I like a lot of variety, so it's like it was too much the same. So we'll put that one next. Then let's do our graph. And then let's do this one next. Okay. Then our music. Then this other greenish yellowish one. Then our ledger. Then this one. Then our yellow, our other yellow. See how that's starting to stick out? I'm going to have to do some trimming here. Then we've got this one, and I need one piece of writing paper to go here, so that kids' writing paper I will have to get one, and then another piece of scrapbook paper, and our pockets. So really I just need one. Yeah, I needed that one more piece of paper, didn't I? But I said I have some coffee dye paper here. Maybe I'll just use that. Let me grab one of those. Sorry if I'm getting my head or anything else in the camera. Just need to reach over to the other side of my table. Here I got it out and had it handy for whatever I wanted to do today. And this will look pretty in here because it's my coffee and RIT dyed paper. It's burgundy RIT dye. You see how the patterns came out? Isn't that pretty? And this will look pretty with the pinks in here. So let's go ahead and fold that. Let's see how I want to fold this one. Let's just open this up real quick. We can fold it. I'll have to cut a little length off this way, off the bottom. I think this one I'm going to fold just one big fold in the back instead of a fold on both sides. One fold on one side, so it's a little bit of a bigger fold on this side. See how that is? So you have a nice big piece like that, and then it'll be folded in half like this for our pages. And then we'll have to cut a strip off the bottom. So about 1/2 inch off the bottom, I would say. Let's go ahead and do that. About 1/2 inch off the bottom. And you can measure with your ruler if you want. I'm just kind of eyeballing it here because this is a variety. You know, all the pages are not exactly the same size. I mean, the long ones pretty much are, but if it was like, you know, a fraction off, it wouldn't matter because I am doing variety of size pages. So, but I think I've pretty much got it the same as the others. So let's see, we're going to put this one back here where we needed a page. See how pretty that looks right there? Perfect. Okay. So I think, see how they stick out as you add? They all kind of graduate out as you add. So I'm going to go through off camera. I mean, I think it's pretty self-explanatory as far as trimming the pages. Like, I have my, okay, so here's a dilemma. I have my pocket here that I wanted on the outside, I mean in the middle, but it's sticking out now that I'm done with the pages. This is all the pages I'm going to put in, right? But I need to trim that, but I've sewn on this one. So now what do? If I trim it, I'm going to cut my sewing off, right? So what I've done with that is just change my arrangement around. This one's sticking out too. Let's see what else is sticking out. Okay, I'm just going to show you how I decide here. This one is sticking out. Let's see what's on this page. From here, right here is good. Okay. This one's sticking out, and there's nothing to keep me from cutting anything off of this one. But let me go ahead. And this one is nice and pretty on right here. Of course, you can always turn it around and do it this way before you sew it in, if you want to change which direction your pages go in. I'm just going to cut a sliver off the side of this one, not really measuring. Okay, and put it back in, see what it looks like, see if it's sticking out anymore. I don't think it will be. See, no more sticking out. Okay, let's see if our music was sticking out. Music, not sticking out. This one, I got two there. This one is sticking out. There is nothing to keep me from cutting off a sliver here. There's no pockets on this one. So let's cut this one off, a sliver. Oops. Okay. Is it good? It is good. See that? Nothing sticking out. Okay, is our ledger sticking out? Yes, it's sticking out. Okay. This is what you have to do. This is what I do every time. I always just go back and, you know, because you can't really predict that. You can't really, I mean, you can, but you can't. And I'd rather do it this way than try to predict it from the beginning, because you kind of don't know where you want your pages from the beginning either. I mean, unless you do know where you want your pages, but I don't know where I want my pages from the beginning. And I still might rearrange them, so not sticking out anymore. Okay, so the rest of these are probably sticking out. Let's just see. We've got a folded one, so you don't want to just go all willy-nilly cutting off your folded pages, because you're going to cut off your folds, right? I've done it, believe me. I'm sure everyone that makes junk journals has cut off their folds. Okay, so that one is sticking out, so let's go ahead and trim that. They're all, the ones I'm cutting off, I'm trying to give you a measurement of what I'm cutting off. Not quite a 1/4 of an inch, I would say. Under 1/4 of an inch anyway. Okay, let's make sure. Whoops, picked up my trash there. It's in, front and back, everything's in. Okay, so this was our next page. Let's see what we got going on here, because this one we can just refold. We don't have to cut that off. So that little sliver that we're cutting off, we just pull this in by that much. Even if we have a fold mark, I don't think it really matters. It kind of disappears into the woodwork. And I really don't mind it. You know, even though there's 2 fold marks, I'd rather have 2 fold marks than cut these off. Okay, now that should be good. And we'll put it in and see. See, all gone. Now our pocket. So what we're going to do, where is the pocket? Oh. Okay, this is not the pocket. I've got 2 more pages up here I gotta decide. Okay, so these are 2 more pages that, let's see if they're sticking out. Okay, let's do one at a time, because these are not really sticking out so far. But, yep, well, they are sticking out. That one's sticking out, and this one is sticking out. Okay. This one's not really sticking out that much, but a little bit. This is just sticking out a tiny bit. So just a tiny, tiny sliver on this one. Okay, see how tiny that is? And then this one was, let's put it in here. This one was a little bit bigger of a sliver. Just under 1/4 of an inch, I would say. Or that might be 1/4 of an inch on that one. Okay, so that, see, this one's sticking way out now. Seems like I might have these out of order, but for the sake of just showing you how because I'm not binding them right now, so for the sake of showing you how I even them all out, I'm just going to stick them in there for the moment. Okay, so this one needs to be, I would still want it like this, but I want to fold it differently. So, let's see, you see I have room to fold this one in some more. But this one also needs to be folded smaller. So first of all, I'm going to fold this a little bit smaller, kind of like that 1/4 of an inch, or just under 1/4 of an inch type of measurement on that. So now you can see that one's smaller. Okay, and now we need to make this one quite a bit smaller. So we're going to fold this one way in and see if that's good. Okay, so it's still plenty of room there for where we're going to bind it. We're not getting into our fold with this fold. See? Okay, make sure everything's even on this one. All right, let's see if that's good. It's good, but it's sticking out a little bit too much for me on the fold here. I'm going to put it a little bit more over. It's still not right up into the fold, so, you know, like it's still got a little tiny space there. And I can always trim that if I need to, but this, I need this to be right over here. And that side I can, this right here, I can trim if I need to. Okay, now it's good. Now I'm happy with that, okay? And our last page is this, so we're not going to, what we're going to do with this is we're not going to put it in the middle. We're going to put it, let's see, we have the other pocket. Let me find the other pocket here. The other pocket's right here. I could try that one in the middle and see again if that one fits better, and put this one here just for the sake of not moving things around too much. Let's just see. It probably won't. No, it sticks out too. Okay. So we're going to pick out another piece. We're going to pick out another pretty piece for the middle. Let's try this one in the middle for right now. I might turn it around, but like this is really pretty, or it could be like this. But for right now, I'm just going to stick it right here just to save time. Okay, so let me go back, and that one pocket is in the front part, and so this one needs to be, I'm trying to see if I can stick it somewhere where it won't stick out, you know what I mean? So I don't have to, I mean, the worst case scenario, you have to cut it off and re-sew your pages. But that is just about right. I mean, I can put it closer to the front, which I wanted them more spread apart, but I don't want to sew. I don't want to cut. I don't want to do it over if I don't have to. So let's just do that. Okay, now it fits because I put it closer to the front. So that's how I've done that before. I just move the pockets around so that they fit. Okay, so I don't have a pocket in the middle, no big deal. I can still put a pretty page in the middle. You know what I mean? It's still a pretty wow page. And if I decide I don't want this one, I'll pick out another pretty wow page and put it in the middle like this. Would be pretty in the middle. I mean, a lot of these would be pretty in the middle. So that's pretty much it for right now. I think this video is probably long enough. Next, I think I want to use up these scraps. These are the cutoffs from these pages right here. All of these, I saved them in one pile. And so I want to make some, ephemera type things with this. So I'm going to come back with a video on using these. And here's some over here too. But using these, and also see if we want to do some decorating on the pages. I've been just doing kind of light decorating so that it's a jump start for people who get my journals, and they can take it from there. They can be like, oh, that's pretty, I want to do that too, something like that, and they have room to have some fun. I don't want to decorate every page. I want them to have that fun of decorating the pages. So we might do a little light decorating work on ephemera, and then we'll do the binding. So we'll be done before you know it. So I'll be back with the, let's see, what shall we do next? I think we'll do the ephemera next. I think that would be fun. So we'll see you next time with the ephemera video. And see you next time. Happy crafting. Thanks for watching.